Hi everybody, and welcome to my bouquet number 5 process video. This is the 5th bouquet right here. You can see it is a little bit brighter than some of the others, and I'm excited to share with you the process. This is a picture of the wild poppy flower bouquet in a teacup. I wanted to mention something interesting. You can see the raspberries and the strawberry from this old painting. I scrubbed it out and used the canvas, so I kept the berries because I thought they were quite cute. So this is kind of new for me. It's an older canvas with a new painting, so I thought that was kind of interesting. You can see here I have my red line drawing from my colored pencil, and I'm going right in with my poppy red. Quick and efficient, just very intuitive. These things will be mostly covered. However, I always make sure I have some of the red poking through because I really feel like it gives my paintings life and energy. So I'm just looking at the reference. My beautiful old antique teacup, blue and white. I think it's called Blue Flow. And a beautiful bouquet from Wild Poppy Farms. And like I said, with the old canvas and the berries that were from another painting. You can see here I'm trying to show you some of my colors that I'm using. I'm going in with the lemon. This is just the first swipe. I will add to this later. I am using some yellow ochre and another yellow, a little bit of green and some white. But later, after this dries, I add a little bit more yellow ochre to the bottom and a little bit of lemon yellow with a little white mixed in to the top where the sun would hit it. Just finishing up that first swipe. Later, when I add the background color, I'll also carve this lemon out a little bit smaller. You know I love to add fruit to my still life paintings. And in a little bit, you'll see I also add a little blueberry once I add the blue to the cup. So right now, since I have yellow on my brush, I'm just putting in the first swipe of yellow on the yellow flowers. It's just kind of like that medium tone. I'm going to add some darks and some more brights later. But you can see here that I'm just adding that first swipe. Next thing I'm adding is kind of a dark green, greenish blue. I add a little purple later. I try to add a lot of my colors in so that there's some continuity throughout the painting. So right now, lots of times I like to add that dark green first because it tends to be in the background and really grounds the painting. So that's what I'm doing here. And just watch this for a minute. You can see in the upper right hand corner that is the actual bouquet in the blue cup, and the other bouquet is from the larger bouquet I got from the roadside stand. It's such a great little stand. It's a honor system. They have a little box and you pay for your flowers in a little shanty right by the side of the road. It's very cute. So now I'm adding the blue lines to the teacup and making sure the bottom will be darker. Leave a little of that red shining through because I really feel like it adds life, as I said. Making sure I like the shape of the teacup here. Adding a rim so everything is kind of grounded. Here's that blueberry. I decided, need a little blue down low. And this is where we are at this point. You can see that dark green is kind of like a brownish green in this light. You can tell a little bit better. So now I'm going in with some pink. You know I love pink, so I'm going to start there. I love it. I have a rose here, so I'm adding some of the brighter colors. And you can see the poppy red is still acting as part of the rose in the dark areas. So now I'm just going in, and wherever I see pink or if I want to add some pink, I'm just going in with my light pink. Right now I'm adding some light highlights to the raspberries and to the strawberry because I had the pink on my brush. Now I'm going in with like a darker red. I think it's carmine. And I'm just trying to make some dark spots. And I also just added some dark purples. I'm working on this purple flower in the front now. This flower gave me a lot of trouble. I will be adding to that quite a few different layers, as you'll see. But right now, we just have that dark center. Going in with a very light, a lot of white added, yellow, to add some highlights to the yellow flowers that I did in the beginning with that mid-tone yellow. Now I'm adding the highlights, which I thought those came out really cute. I really was happy with those little marks. It's amazing what a little bit of paint will do to change the shape of a flower and the look of the flower. So since I was so happy with that, I'm going in now and I'm adding it to these sort of cone-like leaf structures. I'm not sure what this flower is called. It kind of does have like a maroon color, but I just, it's your own painting. You can change colors, so I decided to keep it kind of in the green-yellow family. Going in now with this flower, as I said, gave me some trouble. For some reason, I felt like the purples just didn't look purple. They kind of looked too grayed out, so I tried to change it a number of times. This will continue on throughout the painting. Now, what happened here, in my opinion, I added too much white. It was a little too bright. So later I'll go over that with a little bit more purple. You can see here. Too much highlight. I think I decided to let it dry for a bit because it wasn't working out. Maybe not. Yeah. Not on the flower. I'm going into the center, making it a little bit more dark, cutting in some of those white areas and adding it to the center. One of the lessons I learned from Suzanne Allard is work through the ugly. So that's what you're going to see here with this flower quite a bit. I wasn't really happy with it till the end, but I just kept working on it, adding another layer, thinking about it, leaving it for a bit, going to some other areas so that I wasn't just kind of stuck with this flower that I was having trouble with. It's an important flower because it's kind of in the center, so I wanted to be happy with it. Some of the more background flowers, I might just be happy with a dab here or there, but this one I really wanted to be happy with it. Here's the other purple flower. I'm now adding some of the lighter shades. I was happy with that. Going in now that the blue has dried a bit, it only takes a couple minutes with the Turner's acrylic gouache, and going in and cutting in some of the shapes a little bit more defined with the white. I also make sure I let some of the red shine through. And you can see in the final painting there is a little bit of like a pink hue here and there. And I leave that nice red sort of swipe across the bottom as one of the energy points. Adding some white to the handle. Changing shapes a little. Adding some white to the blueberry. Felt it was a bit too much, so I dabbed it off with my finger. Then I decided, just impromptu, it wasn't in the bouquet, to add some more blue spots because I just felt like the blue cup was so pretty. The blueberry was there. I wanted to bring some blue up higher. Now I'm adding some darker greens, also adding the darker greens into the yellow flowers. Jumping right into the background color, I decided to keep this painting on the lighter side, even though in the series I haven't used this kind of really light background. I guess the first one had kind of a light background, but this is even lighter. You'll see I add a little bit of the cobalt blue from the blueberry and from the cup to this blue to make more of a shadow eventually at the bottom of the cup and at the bottom of the fruit. There you have it right there. A little more shadow. And here, unfortunately, the sun was moving across my sunroom. My roof is made of glass, so it does have an impact. I decided to add some more some bright yellows. You can see, even though it's in shadow a little, you can see how I'm really lightening up the top of the lemon. And this, like I said, is lemon yellow, maybe with a little white. Going in, making that little spot shine. To me, this is what makes the painting sing, is having these nice little touch points of brightness. Now I'm adding more of the yellow ochre down the bottom to have a little bit of a contrast. There would be shadow where it's hidden from the sun, and the strawberry is there. So it's all like a little bit of a shady area, at least in my mind. Trying to find a spot where you can see better. Now I'm going in and adding even brighter yellow to the yellow flowers. This kind of stuff makes me happy. I really enjoy this part. I think those flowers look like they have some nice dimension now. Now going back to that flower that was giving me trouble, you can see it's a little bit too much white, so I'm going to let that dry for a bit, add some more beautiful bright pinks here and there, including on the fruit. And here it is. I do like the looseness of the flowers. There are the raspberries and the lemon and the strawberry. Here are the 5 paintings I've done so far in the series. Which is your favorite? Drop a comment and let me know. I hope you enjoyed this.